Every single moment in your life is either a blessing or a lesson. The good news is, lessons are blessings, so everything's a blessing. Everybody says that marijuana and alcohol, these are the gateway drugs. Well, I disagree. I believe it's trauma. And the fact of the matter is, every single one of us have trauma. It's subjective. At 9 years old, I got introduced to marijuana. And you know what? I loved it. I started smoking as much as I can. I used to sneak into the woods during high school. I'd smoke a big dime, and I'd be high all day. And you know what? For the first time in my life, I felt comfortable. I felt normal. But this became a crutch. And I'm sure for all the people out there that struggle with addiction, we know that it becomes a crutch. The problem with addiction, it's a solution to a problem that in result creates an even bigger problem. And it just keeps on festering. It's like slapping a Band-Aid on a broken leg. It looks good, but it does nothing but make things worse. I watched all of my friends go to the colleges of their dreams while I had to stay home. I went to a city college, CSI, nothing wrong with it, but it was not the ideal school that I wanted to go to, but I had to settle for it. For this, I was very, very resentful. And I had a lot of anger against myself, because I only had myself to blame because of this. But this started getting periodically worse, and through high school I started doing cocaine and ecstasy. In fact, one day I took cocaine all night, and I went to a baseball game in the morning, and I had a seizure on the field in front of all my friends and all my family. The next thing that I knew was I was waking up from a coma in the ICU 3 weeks later. The doctors would say things like, you're not gonna make it through the night. You have multi-organ failure. You have 108 fever. Your brain is frying right now. We have you under ice blankets. There's no way you're gonna make it through the night. If you survive, if and only if, which will be a miracle, you will be a complete vegetable. You will lose all 4 of your limbs, and you'll never be the son your mother once knew. I start to pray to God for the first time in my life, begging and pleading for a second chance. Please, God, I learned my lesson. I promise you. I promise I learned it. Just give me one more chance. I promise you, if you get me out of this, I'm gonna make a difference in this world. I'm gonna change. Begging and pleading. For weeks on end, I had no response. Until one day, the doctor walked in. He said, Kevin, I've got some good news, and I've got some bad news. The good news is, I think you're gonna make it. I think you're out of the woods. The bad news is, we're gonna have to take your leg, or you're gonna die tonight. Now, when I first heard this, I didn't know what to think. I felt every single emotion you could possibly think of. Anger, resentment, regret, shame, guilt. But amongst all of these emotions I felt, there was one emotion that I had to hold on to the tightest. And that was the emotion of gratitude. Being grateful that I was still alive. I had to learn how to eat again, drink again, walk again, talk again, breathe again, everything again. So I went to the prosthesist and I asked him, hey doc, what do you think? How long is it gonna take me to walk? He looks me straight in the eyes. He said, Kevin, doesn't look good for you. You're 120 pounds, you have atrophy throughout your body, you're missing your leg, you can't move your hand. It's probably gonna take you 2 years to learn how to walk. When I heard this, I almost cursed the guy out. I said, no offense, doc, but don't tell me what I'm gonna do. I'll show you. And I stormed out of that hospital about as fast as you can, rolling out on a wheelchair. And within 2 weeks, I came back with just a cane. The doctors tried to grab me and said, don't touch me, I'm gonna do this my way. I couldn't believe it. I came back 2 weeks later, completely unassisted, walking on my own 2 feet. Imagine that. Doctors tell you it's 2 years until you're gonna be able to walk. I was walking in a month. And I realized that there's no limitations in life. The only limitations you have in life are your mindset and your faith. You could do anything. Don't ever let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. You are your own enemy. You can do anything, just if you put your mind to it.
you.